Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Well, there was a few of us living in what is known as the club chambers behind the Spotted Dog in Kuala Lumpur, which is a sort of chummery, you know. And one of them was an accountant from Everton Company named Gisbert, G he was. He'd come up from Malacca where they had a group, and he wanted to start one around Kuala Lumpur. And he gave it the name Hash House Harriers, a alliterative name, as a mere joke.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Well, we were sitting round, you might say, eating, and he suggested it, that's all. It was a light-hearted thing. He'd be most amused to find out what's happened to it.
The Hash was founded in the Hash House, which was over the road, over Jalan Kuching, is now demolished. You have a picture of it. Together with that, though, this to some extent was the spiritual home of the Hash House Harriers. This is where they mainly used to drink. The Hash House was residential and also had a dining room. One suspects that most drinking was probably done over here.
It wasn't because the food at the club chambers was bad. Far from it. I always reckoned the Chinese cooks were first class, and the food was very good there, I thought. As I say, I remember they had one wonderful dish, a soufflé surprise, you know, a sort of ice with white of egg, and which was lit up with brandy, and we called it fuck all pudding, burnt to buggery, I'm afraid. Anyway, he gave it that name, and I think that's the reason it has stuck.
My father was of Catalan extraction. Both his parents were Catalan Spaniards. I'm going to be really boastful here and say that because they've given you such great names as Picasso, and whereas I wouldn't put him in that class. I mean, he was a bit like me, you know, short. Short in the leg. I mean, if I was longer than the leg, I'd be a taller man, but I'm not.
As I say, G was definitely the founder of it. He wasn't a very athletic fellow. He was a rather roly-poly, cherubic chap, as you can see from his photo. But I remember on one occasion, he was generally found trundling behind the rest of us. And after one of the stops, due to a false trail, suddenly found himself in front. And I remember him saying, hold, give me my moment.
The Hash House Harriers, as you know, was founded around Christmas 1938 in the Hash House, or in this bar. And the four people are normally credited with this. Horse Thompson.
Somebody said he had a horsey look, you know, with a large lower of the jaw, but I mustn't let poor old Horse down. They did say once that he was playing cricket, he was seen nuzzling up against the goal post. Well, I better not let him. Horst would explain that himself. He was a very amusing chap, by the way. He was a great man for the conservation of energy, and he was a wonderful man for finding short cuts. He once said, he really was a rather sardonic fellow. He once said he got a half blue for moral turpitude at Oxford.
I hadn't realised when we registered this society many, many years ago how it would expand. We had no idea. I use the comparison that it expanded like an amoeba, which can split without any sexual intercourse. And instead of one amoeba, one can have two amoebas.
Cecil Lee, Gisbert, Torch Bennett.
Well, Torch, because he has a rather, then he had rather burning, what you call it, not red, what you call it, his hair was I suppose, a fiery hair, you know. Somebody called him Torch. That's how he was known.
Gisbert is often credited with being the real founder of the thing, being the guy that gave it the push that finally got them on the road. Horst Thompson and Cecil Lee were the first joint masters.
Well, I was reluctant at first. He made me and Horst Thompson, F.A. Thompson, who was in the Post and Telegraph, as the first joint masters. And we met, I think, every Friday, and came out in our cars and brought a tin of ginger beer and beer, and first two of the Harriers laid the trail with paper from the Malay Mail, and then after an interval, we set off, and we went all round KL, all round amongst the Chinese market gardens, the tin mine flats, the rubber and all that. I thought the Chinese were very tolerant of us. They must have thought us Orangila, which means madmen, but in those days it was purely expatriate.
In the early days, of course, it was a very small organisation. The odds are you probably never had more than 20 or 30 people on a run, if indeed on the membership. Slightly elite, one suspects.
We met at various venues, you see, round the environs of Kuala Lumpur. We didn't meet at the club chambers, it's just that the idea started there. Or, I mean, there were it was a bachelor's chummery, you see.
Hare and hound sort of thing, paper chase type of thing, but with added things, you know, a few beers.
A lot of people define hashers as drinkers with a running problem.
First two Harriers would recce the run a day or two before. Then when Friday came, they'd go out and do the run, scatter the paper. They're not allowed to do that now, I gather. They use flour, I believe.
Where we're headed is up off this sort of platform thing here. When you get down there, it looks like it's a dead end, but right in the corner there's actually a trail which gets up into some bloody dead ground. What we're going to do is we're going to put a check here, and the people who know the area hopefully will think, there's nothing up there. We'll zip off down here. But in fact, it's going to be up there. I'll get down and do this one.
Right, what we're going to do here, we're going to split the run into 3 different directions. One straight up the path, one over the bridge, one down the footpath to your left. Two of the routes will be teed, which means it'll be get so far down it they'll have to come all the way back and find the actual route that is not teed, and then they'll go on from there. Okay?
Getting into the stuff where you can't use chalk, so we're going to start using flour to mark it. But that means we can't quite be as clever because it's like you can't write on and shit with flour. So we're just going to mark it out through this part here. The flour's not very good, eh?
That's handy. You try and put the tea somewhere they can't see it as they're running onto it. So it's a bit of a surprise as they go around a corner and you get a... Not that wrong, is it?
Take it back.
What we're trying to do here is there's a culvert or a contour path that runs along there, but it stops. You can't go any further. So it's a good opportunity to send everyone racing down there. And then right at the end, we'll say, it's the wrong way. do a check back, and they'll have to come back here and check up these steps.
Maybe we give them an arrow up each way.
Yeah. Go both ways. We'll loop it and meet at the same side so that it just splits them either way. Ah.
This is called
Excuse me, can I
confusing
put a
them.
chalk mark down, please? Hello. Thank you. Excuse me. It's all right. I'm not on a weird thing here.
Yeah. On.
The check back, which means the real trail's somewhere between the last on and where you are now.
Yep.
So what we want to do is we're going to go up maybe over that rock before we put any flour down. So people will come in here and I'll say, bloody rock, and then they'll mill around, and it isn't until I get over the top and see that there's some chalk there, and we say, okay, this is the trail. After a check back, any chalk is, and they'll think that they're on.
Right.
A check.
Yeah.
We've had a split before that has 2 paths that have a T at the end. The check, the chalk can be anywhere. Within 100 metres, thank you, Howie. The chalk can be anywhere. So it's up to the hashers to find it.
This little stream goes up into the hills for maybe 10, 15 minutes walking. What we're going to do is follow it. All of that bloody checks and all that down on the road was to try and make sure that when the pack gets here, there's some slower people in front of the faster people, so that it's not so easy for them just to blast ahead. So we want to try and put people in front of them, so when they come into here, because you can't really run along here, it's run, scrabble, and so people haven't got an advantage. So we're trying to keep everyone hopefully together.
There are usually only 2 people setting a hash, so it's not quite as chaotic.
Right, go that way.
Everybody's stage in life, you've got to get your bag of flour out and make a few pancakes.
Up till now we've been following that stream bed. Now we're going to start climbing back up so we can get back up onto the path, which is where we wanted to go in the first place anyway.
On a hash run, as far as I know, we've never seen anything big. Wild boar occasionally. They, of course, are potentially dangerous, but you keep out of their way. It's no big deal. We've never had anybody attacked by anything. Snakes, of course, you come across. I've trod on a cobra and I've trod on a cripe, but they both took a snap and missed. I'm glad to report.
Stop shouting at the wildlife, you'll upset them.
The whole idea is to keep them as a pack.
What are you going to do with that? Leave it on the trees in clear sight so that they can actually see it, and we'll give them the brief before the run, telling them what to look for, and this will be one of the things to look for, pink bug paper. You like a bow or a knot?
So I'll go down this way and do the T for coming back.
I do the T.
Oh, okay, yeah, but make sure you don't go as far as the bridge.
Yeah,
if you see the bridge come well past, because if they run through that,
Yeah,
then
they
it'll
will
be
say,
on
"I'm
home,
home."
and it'll be the end of the run.
Okay.
Because we're not running in the city, you can't really ride anything on the ground. So it's trying to make sure that they spot it, because if they're not looking out for it, they'll just keep on going, and when we get back, they'll whinge that the...
Top of the other hill. Ha! Howie!
Knickers.
You've got to go right down the back and up past those pylons to get out again, because you can't get out down here.
That's okay, we'll do that. They want a run, they'll get a run.
You got that on film, didn't you?
Stand up, though. That's 3 times I've done that now.
Come on, you. Oh. I think it might just be called a hill, actually. You found it, then?
I found it.
yeah, I think so.
Look at the flowers down here.
Yeah, yeah.
So they move.
We have to go straight now. Now we've got flour.
This is going to be a signpost.
The Rambo run is the longer run, and the Wimps run we're going on at the moment is the basically the Wimps run.
Oh God, Maggie Reynolds is going to love this. Look.
So on home means that there's not going to be any checks or checkbacks or anything silly. They just follow the chalk and they're finished.
Coming for to carry me home.
And then we would assemble. That went on once a week it was.
Listen up, listen up! If you don't listen up, you might get lost. On the left, we've got some flour. It's like this, but it's white. It's a white flour. That means that you may or may not be on trail, but follow it. The next one, we've got two styles of checks. We've got multi-style checks. The first one, if you're on concrete, we took the time to do that. If you're on dirt or something, we couldn't be bothered, and it looks like a Martian, somebody said. The next one, this is a one-chai T. Don't run through it. This one's a check back. If you come across a check back, the correct trail's somewhere between the check back and the on-on. The last on that is, not the next one. This is a one-chai hash arrow. Don't run on anything else. Today's run, we've got a Rambo split. Thank you very much. We've got a Wimp's Rambo split. Keep an eye out for it. The Rambo's is just a bit longer. It's about the same degree of dangerousness. Which brings me to this symbol. This is a new one. This is a rock. On today's run, you may see one or two of these. Please be careful. They're quite slippery. It's better to get your new shoes wet than to land on your bum. The trail starts down at Choi Sai Wu Park. There's a check. So if you just run on down this road, you'll come to a check and then start checking out. Fuck off. Hold on. End of the path and turn right. Away you go. Hold on. Hold on. What happened? Wife! Your wife! Hey, no pakawa!
Oh, it's on home.
I'll be slowing down a minute. One, two.
Merry Christmas.
Hold on.
going to get me, I think, for sure. Do something for me, would you?
Yep.
Just pick up about 2 bits of paper in each direction.
Yep.
And I think they're going to get me for sure, but I'll see you later.
What's going on? Yeah.
Thanks, Go and have a beer.
I am absolutely, completely and utterly. Oh dear. Of course not. I've done it at the other way.
Oh, terrible. That's a very good run.
First one I've done yet, so really enjoyed it anyway. Down a bit, up a bit, round a bit. I'm from South. Oh, this weather.
Buy your tickets now!
Where are you going to annoy somebody else? You can't even have a quiet drink.
By the way, this is the expert artist who does all of these shirts. It's Shirley Temple, he does all the bits and pieces, the colours and that.
It's an artist and a gentleman.
Where's the bastard called on at the check?
Who's ahead? Congratulations. Excellent. Yeah.
Very good.
Very good run.
Very good.
Bit of trouble with the fifth one when in the open there, and there's a bit of criticism because you laid 2 checks about 100 yards apart.
That is correct.
Deliberately so. Yes. 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 Well, I mean, if you set out to confuse the pack, that's what you achieved.
It's all pretty informal. I mean, there are no hard and fast rules. You've got one person looking after the money.
Hash cash. Collecting money.
You've got the GM.
On the circle! So, can we have the hares in the circle? We now give you the hares! Bring it! Down, 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 down,
There was a lot of short-cutting bastards today, weren't there? They were there. The best one I saw was a committee member. One of our committee members who said, "It's a hell of a job trying to keep this pack together, isn't it?" And immediately jumped over the little saddle up in Sir Cecil's ride and followed another short-cutting bastard who will be nameless. Daddy, get in here!
Coco! Come over here, you did it as well.
I really don't remember what the origin of the down is. It probably goes back to ancient history, of course. It probably wasn't invented by the hash. It's probably been, you know, sculling beer has been an old Anglo-Saxon custom for centuries. At what point it got introduced into the hash, I really cannot tell you. The story, of course, I mean, this is the case for the defence. We waited an hour and a half for a camera to turn up.
What we'd like to do at the same time is give the cameramen who are here a down as well. Now, that's going to be a bit difficult. But what we could try and do is get one cameraman filming another cameraman as he's having a down.
and that splendid circular check on the hill. I thought they'd never find it. I thought it would ruin the run. If I'd gone straight for home the way I meant to go, they'd have had me.
We don't have to break the checks again after we've broken it the first time.
You mean we're allowed to have checks on runs, aren't we?
You were caught drinking a beer.
Right, listen in.
How can you sin against the assembled company? Slime, can we have you up here?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we were soaked, but one particular person didn't want to get her hair wet, so she had a cardboard box she put on the head. So can we have flip-flop up here? Down, 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 down.
It's always amazed me that this one has suddenly spread all over the world.
We now reckon we've got about 1,200 clubs worldwide, which gives us perhaps 80,000 members. But of course, as we have no official organisation, we don't really know.
Whose shoes is that over there? Listen in to your religious advisor. I
forgot. Ladies and gentlemen, today I trust we got the weather correct. Yes. However, I would like to welcome to the circle some of our members who do not seem to have a name. Kneel before your religious advisors, the three of you. Now, Thelma thinks she's got a name.
Yeah, I have.
And just because her husband is called Mickey Mouse, she thinks she should be called Minnie Mouse. However, who is the faithful compatriot to Mickey Mouse? Donald Duck! This one here is the one who tried to eliminate the spiders I talk about. So she shall be henceforth known as Spider-Woman. And this great little girl here arrived in Phuket for the Interhash without a name. So we had to give her a sort of name, and so we called her Tits. I have no idea why. However, why'd you call her that? She did some amazing things with a piece of elastic. The tire. And she went not once, not twice, 3 times. She did a bungee jump. So I did think of calling her Bungee Tits. No. I will not be so cruel, and so from henceforth she'll be known as Bungee Tits. So, arise, Mamselle Bungee. Arise, Spider-Woman. Arise, Donald Duck, and go and waddle off over there.
One right free. Morning, Mr. Fisherman, home from the sea. Have you a lobster big enough for 3? Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. Yes, sir, I have 2. The biggest of the lobsters I will sell to you. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. Oh, I got the lobster home. I couldn't find a dish. I put it in the place where the missus goes to piss. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. Oh, early in the morning, as you well know, the missus got up to have a heave-ho. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. Oh, the missus gave a groan. The missus gave a grunt. Bloody fucking lobster grabbed her by the cup. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. Oh, the missus grabbed a poker. I grabbed a broom. We chased the fucking lobster round and round the room. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. Oh, we heard it on the head. We heard it on the side. We heard it in the balls until the bastard died. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. That's the end of my story, and there isn't any more. There's an apple up my arsehole. You can have the core. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. There's a moral to my story, and the moral is this. Always have a shufty before you have a piss. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. Oh, Dan on the toilet is playing with his prick. You ask him what he's doing, he says he's keeping fit. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust. Oh, down at Nagasaki, the monkey fucked the cat. And all the cat could do was fuck the monkey back. Singing I, diddly I, shit or bust. Never let your wallets dangle in the dust.
These kids are going to have nightmares tonight.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
The most memorable event to me, and I think in anybody living today, was the all-nighter. A Swiss gentleman set a run from Ulu Klang way out behind where the zoo is. This means, to begin with, it was not going to be a nice canter through open rubber estates or anything like that. It was going to be single file marching up and down jungle mountains. Presumably it reminded him of his native Zermatt or something. He set most of the run, and apparently then he was worried that the pack was getting close to him and possibly panicked. He hit a track just before a pass, up and behind Ulu Klang, behind the ridge. And instead of turning left and going over the ridge, he turned right and set off deeper into the jungle. We caught him about 7:20, running into the jungle. The first mistake we made was not immediately turning round and trying to make our way out. We thought we'd gather the troops and then decide what to do. So that wasted valuable time till it was dark. Not that it would probably have made very much difference. We then set off the way he was going because we thought we'd get out that way, which was not a chance, and blundered off into the jungle and swamp. We got in one lovely swamp, up thick, stinking black mud up to your knees, which people were sort of losing shoes at 11 o'clock at night in the pitch black and hunting for them. Really charming. And eventually about the second swamp we gave up. We crawled out of it about 1 o'clock and just gave it away, said that's that. 4 people very intelligently had stayed behind at some point on a nice hilltop. They made the right, we were down from 42 then to 38. So we just kept down as best we could. We were on a vertical hillside above the most recent swamp and sat there all night. Luckily there were no mosquitoes. It happens in the jungle. Some areas are rotten with mosquitoes, some have got none. You can't tell the difference between one and the other. In the morning we decided the way we'd been going during the night was wrong. We turned around and went back, with one exception. And we came back to the place where the paper joined the trail we'd got back onto, and where the guy should have gone over the ridge. I and Paul Barnard, another man who should be remembered, said, we go up here over the ridge and get home. The rest said, no, we took your advice some 12 hours ago, this is why we're still here, therefore we're going to go back on paper, whatever it takes. So Paul and I and 4 others climbed over the ridge and came down to a standpipe, I remember, in a kampong way out in Ulu Klang, Kampong Kemansa Dalam. When we were on the ridge, I remember we spent some time looking down into the kampong where we'd been parked and saying, is the beer wagon there or isn't it? We eventually decided it was. Actually, it wasn't. About 25 to 8 when we had our first drink. We were looking forward to it, of water. So we staggered out about 25 to 8. The people on paper came back about 9 o'clock. The one guy who'd gone ahead, saying this was definitely the right way to go and the original decision was correct, came out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, by which time people, particularly his wife, were getting somewhat concerned about him. He came out miles away and came back on a motorbike, but he managed to stop somewhere on the edge of the jungle, miles from anywhere. Normally when you lose somebody, you've got some sort of picture of what happened in the run and where they might be. This time there were two things. A, there was no hare to even tell you where the run had gone, because he was with us. And B, nobody had come back who had any idea which way we'd gone. So some heroes at the run site rang up lots of people and organised search parties. They had no idea where to look, so they hadn't a chance. And they were sort of miles off course. By about 1 o'clock, they decided all they could do was to get the telephone book out and ring up everybody and say, you know, terribly sorry, Billy's lost in the jungle, wish he'll come back in the morning. And 2 good stories come out of this. One was my wife. We'd been married then about 2 months, and she'd already begun to wonder if she hadn't made some sort of mistake. So when the phone went at 1 o'clock in the morning, she thought, that's him explaining why he's still in the Colosseum bar and won't be back for a moment. So she didn't answer it. And about 3, she was getting a bit worried. The other was a splendid gentleman's wife, a gentleman called Jeff Edwards, an Australian from Perth, who was then a bloke of nearly 55. Must have been. A splendid wife called Peggy. And some young Englishman was given the job of ringing up and explaining that Jeff was missing. So he rang up and Peg picked up the phone. Mrs. Edwards? Mrs. Edwards, I'm terribly sorry to tell you, but Jeff is lost in the jungle and I don't think he'll be back till the morning. Serves a stupid old bastard right.
Again, I don't really understand why it's such a big thing. It's blossomed, you know.
Yeah, there's many other groups, you know, but they hadn't got a name. And G was the sort of man who would invent a name like that. Great sense of humour. He actually was a very good commander of a company in the Volunteers, machine gun company. And when the war broke out, he was on leave in Australia. So poor old G, who did a very gallant thing, came back to what was a forlorn hope. That was the end of him.
I think it was just an idea whose time had come.
It's an extraordinary business to me that it should have been spread as it did, and that you should be even coming to me to talk about it. OG would be highly amused, I think. A pity he isn't here. Come in and have a beer, will you?